At exactly 3:17 a.m., the abandoned school bell rang. The problem was, Blackwood School had been closed for 23 years, and everyone in town knew one rule: never enter the school after midnight. But Daniel didn't believe in ghosts. He was a security guard, and that night was his first shift at the abandoned school. At 3:17 a.m., dong! The bell suddenly rang. Daniel grabbed his flashlight and entered the dark building. The hallway was completely silent. Then he heard something. Children laughing. Daniel followed the sound until he reached classroom 13. The door was slightly open. He pushed it. Inside, 23 children were sitting at their desks. All of them were wearing old-fashioned school uniforms. Daniel froze. A little boy slowly raised his head. His face was pale. He whispered. He didn't stop until he reached the main entrance. He grabbed the door handle and pulled, but the door wouldn't open. Then he heard footsteps behind him. Step, step, step. Daniel turned around. The hallway was empty. Suddenly, he heard a little boy whisper, "Daniel." He froze. He had never told anyone his name. The voice came from classroom 13. Daniel slowly walked back. The classroom door was open. Inside, the 23 children were still sitting at their desks. But now, there was something different. There were 24 desks. One was empty. The little boy pointed at it. "That's your seat." Daniel stepped backward. Then, the classroom door slammed shut. The children all looked toward the blackboard. A message appeared by itself. "Welcome, new student." Daniel screamed and tried to escape. Suddenly, a loud scratching sound came from underneath the floor. The wooden floor began to crack. Something was crawling beneath it. The children started crying. The little boy whispered, "She's coming." Daniel asked, "Who is coming?" The classroom lights went out. In the darkness, a woman's voice whispered directly into his ear, "The lesson is about to begin." When the lights came back, the teacher was standing at the front of the classroom. Daniel recognized her from an old photograph in the school office. Her name was Mrs. Vane. She had disappeared 23 years ago, along with 23 students. Daniel looked at the children. "Are you the missing students?" The little boy nodded. His name was Samuel. He whispered, "Mrs. Vane didn't hurt us." Daniel stared at the teacher. "Then what happened?" Samuel pointed toward the floor. "She was protecting us." Suddenly, the floor cracked again. A long, black hand came through. Daniel stepped back in horror. Samuel grabbed his arm. "Don't let it count you." Daniel didn't understand. Then a deep voice came from beneath the floor. "1." The children began shaking. "2?" Daniel looked at Samuel. "What's happening?" Samuel whispered, "It's counting the students." The voice continued. 22. Then 23. The creature stopped. Silence filled the classroom. Then it whispered, 24. The empty desk suddenly moved, and Daniel realized the creature wasn't counting the children. It was counting him. Samuel screamed, "Run!"
The classroom door exploded open. Daniel and Samuel ran into the hallway. Behind them, something enormous began crawling after them.
Samuel led Daniel to the old bell tower. Daniel was terrified. "What is that thing?" Samuel finally told him the truth. 23 years ago, something evil had been trapped inside the school. Mrs. Vane locked the children inside classroom 13 to protect them. But the creature needed a living person every 23 years. Someone new. Someone who could take the place of the missing students. This time, it had chosen Daniel. Samuel pointed toward the giant school bell. "You have to destroy it." Daniel looked confused. "Why?" Samuel said, "The bell keeps the creature alive." Suddenly, they heard a horrible scream. The next morning, police found Daniel unconscious outside the school. But something was strange. Blackwood School was gone. There were no ruins, no broken walls, nothing. Just an empty field. Daniel told the police everything. Nobody believed him. Until they found something buried beneath the ground. 23 pairs of children's shoes. The same children who had disappeared 23 years ago. But there was something else. A 24th pair. The shoes belonged to Daniel. But Daniel was standing right there. The police couldn't explain it. A few months later, a new school was built on the same land. Nobody knew what had happened to Daniel. Some said he left town. Others believed the creature had taken him. Then, on the first day of the new school, the bell rang. Dong. The clock showed 3:17 p.m. A teacher walked into classroom 13. 23 students were sitting at their desks. But there was one extra chair. The teacher slowly looked at it. A little boy